As I've done a lot of travelling over recent years, I thought I'd make this video about the difference between going on a lad's holiday and actual world travelling, seeing all the corners of the world. So let's get straight into this, because I know a lot of people kind of have that debate of whether going on to that kind of partying holiday or whether to actually go see corners of the world that really do interest you and gain a completely different perspective as to what is out there. So it is up to you, obviously, what decision you make at the end of this video. You might kind of already know what type of holidays you're all into, each to their own and all of that. But obviously it's the summertime now in the UK. The summer hasn't been great here whatsoever. A lot of people probably have already been away, but I thought it would be a good time to kind of make this video for people who are still kind of deciding maybe to go one or the other, which way to kind of go down. But yeah, let's just get into this. So we'll start off with the lads holidays. So I've experienced one lads holiday, I'd say. Well, two. The first one didn't go too well. I actually got there, and by the time I got off the plane, I'd end up losing my passport. But that's a story for another day. Got instantly deported. This was actually last summer, but then about a month later, I went on to Zante, which is a massive party place. Anyone from the UK will probably be familiar with Zante. A very popular destination for young men and women. But for me, I just hated it. And the first reason is it is just England with sun. That is all these kind of party places are. You literally, there'll be like a one strip, main strip with all the bars, the clubs, and all of that, and it literally looks like England, maybe even worse. It just looks scruffy everywhere. It's quite dirty, and you'll go out and about 70-80% of the people there will just be English people. There'll be a few people from other places, but nearly everywhere, lads holidays, girls holidays, just travelling and just going on a party holiday in general is something that's very much a British kind of cultural thing. People from other countries just don't really do this anywhere near as much, and I'm sure if you're from one of these countries, you'll be able to back this up. I mean, I don't know the data or anything, but if you go to any of these places, I can assure you that nearly everyone there will be English. And I'm just thinking, well, all you're doing is drinking, getting drunk, partying, which you could do in England, but there's just sun, so you may as well just stay in England, especially in the summer when it's pretty sunny anyway. There's not really any difference. You're spending a lot of money to be somewhere that's exactly the same as it is at home. So that's when you actually think of it like that, it might make you think a bit differently towards it, might not, but that's all I kind of view these kind of party places as. They're just places like very similar to we have at home, but there's just sun there. Obviously you've got the beaches, which are nicer, and there are some nicer places if you go and spend some time in these islands, and you might go spend a couple of days on the main party bit, and then you'll go maybe a couple of days to somewhere a bit nicer, possibly. Maybe you might do that, I don't know. If you're watching this content, I'd like to think you would anyway. But the second thing is quite related. You just feel hungover every day. So when I went away, I was there for about, I think it was 5 nights, and we went out every night. And after about day 2, I just felt like I just didn't want to be there anymore. It was just not enjoyable at all. I was still drinking relatively frequently in England at this point, just over a year ago. So a couple of nights in, I was okay. I could kind of handle that. But then after that, I was just tired. I wasn't eating a lot, and obviously I was going to the gym and stuff, so I didn't want to like lose all my weight and all the gains I've made over the last year and a half. But it just came to a point where it wasn't enjoyable. You're just hungover, you're tired, you don't feel like doing anything, and you just don't do anything at the end of the day. If you kind of have plans to be like, oh well, maybe 1-2 days I'll go actually do something on the island, I'll go like on a boat trip, or maybe I'll go explore and see some other parts. Chances are, if you're actually staying in the party place, you won't do this because you just won't have the energy. You'll be too tired, you'd be hungover, you probably won't have the money either. So yeah, just that feeling actually lasted for like 4 or 5 days after I got back, and I was just like, this is just not it. I will never do this type of holiday again. It's just not worth it at all. So the third reason is a lot of people, especially young men, will want to go to these party islands because they think that it'll be quite easy to just sleep around with women. But this is not really the case, I'd say, from my personal experience and from the experience I've seen from other people. I'd say probably the top 10% of men that go to these places will sleep with the women there. As for the rest of the men, they're probably not going to get much of a look in, to be honest with you, because you might go there thinking you're the best guy there, you look pretty good, but there's going to be guys there who are better than you at the end of the day. It's just how life works in any kind of scenario. And particularly if you're a young guy, maybe you're 18, 19, 20, even 21, 22, there'll be guys there who are 25, 27 and older. And these guys are going to be a lot more attractive to the women, as we kind of know. And they are going to kind of just sweep up most of the women. Obviously, there'll be some you might get lucky, but it's not probably what you think it will be when it comes to just sleeping with women, if that's what you want to do, because I'm sure you probably do if you wanted to go on this holiday like I did. And I don't think many people want much else if they're going, I don't know. But I feel like that's definitely a big part of the reason, whether people want to admit it or not. But definitely a reason, I think, if you were honest with yourself, you would say it is. Next reason is kind of already mentioned, but it's more expensive than a lot of people think. So when I went to Zante, I think I ended up spending, it was a last minute thing, so I did end up spending a lot more than I probably did need to. But I remember like the hotel, the flights was 700 maybe. And then there was other stuff involved, like parking at the airport. And then once you got there, you've got all your money is pretty much just going on drinks, or if you go on like a boat trip, which we did, that's going to add up as well, 50, 60 pounds, euros, wherever you are in the world. But your money just goes, you're just spending it on drink. And when you're drunk as well, you're not thinking rationally. You're like, oh, I'm spending another 10 euros, it's just 10, 15. It adds up before you realise it. And I feel like people probably assume that going on these kind of lads holidays, partying holidays, are going to be cheaper than actually travelling to some decent places and seeing sights, etc. But from my experience, I think it's probably the opposite, which we'll get onto actual travelling in a minute. But be wary of that. I know you can get some good deals if you've got a kind of all-inclusive hotel and flights. Then you probably will, but then you'll probably end up just spending a lot more money when you go out. And if you want to do any trips, it starts to add up. So be cautious if you do end up going on one of these holidays, I would say. And the last one, accidents, injuries are more likely. So as I mentioned, accident, so to speak, I lost my passport. Obviously that's 100% on me. I have to hold myself accountable for that. But obviously just not really thinking and just being stupid. That is probably a big reason why I lost it. And when I went on the lads' holiday in Zante, I think we were on the first day we were there. One of the guys I was with had a massive injury that affected the course of the rest of the holiday. I can't remember exactly what happened, but it was something like he jumped over like a fence, and it was like a spiky fence, and it went right up his arse, and yeah, he was in hospital for about 2 days. Couldn't drink for the rest of the time. Obviously came back with something that's probably going to affect how he looks, his outlook on life for the rest of it, I'd expect, but I don't know. He might just, a lot of these people will probably just go back to the type of person that they were before, and that was probably quite mine. He was quite lucky with the injuries. He's probably going to have like a scar for the rest of his life there, but other than that, it's not going to change his life. But a lot of people, you hear a lot of people being seriously ill, and people even losing their lives for whatever reason. A lot of it comes down to, let's be honest, being stupid, especially when it comes to drinking, being in the sun, being away probably from your parents for the first time. A lot of these people who are 18, 19 years old have never done something like that before. So be very cautious, because you don't want something like this to happen. I'm not trying to be boring or put you off, but I don't think these are a good idea. I'm kind of just trying to look out for you, because this stuff happens more than you realise, and you get some dodgy people over there, particularly if you go to a club. Be very cautious, because some of the bouncers in there can be just absolute dickheads, I can't lie. they will look for any reason to have a scrap with you. If they're bigger than you, I remember this guy, I was in his auntie in a club, and I was just sitting down, and then he comes back in. He was like, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing?" "You're sitting in my seat." I was like, "What?" He was like, "Oh, you're sitting on my seat." I was like, "No, I'm not." And then I was just like, he just like gets his fists out and starts like running after me. I was like, "Oh, fuck this!" I just go. I'm like, I'm just not getting involved. I've been in shit like that before. I'm not letting that happen again. It just happens all the time with people like that in any club, but particularly abroad, because they can get away with it a lot easier than they probably can in the UK, even though the UK isn't great at all. But anyway, be very cautious of that last one for sure. But if you want to go on one of these holidays, like I made a video about this before, yeah, experience it once, because for me, I probably knew that it wasn't going to be the type of holiday that I really wanted to go on. But I feel like for you to say this for sure, for you to truly know and get it out your system, which I think is quite important, just experience it once. Go 3-4 days and be like, just go have fun, I guess, if you can actually have fun, because I struggled to. Because it does become a lot more challenging to kind of enjoy that type of lifestyle the more you kind of improve in your life and being on self-improvement. But if you want to do it, definitely just do it once and just get it out, and you'll probably realise this is shit, I won't do it again. Don't spend too much money, listen to what I've said regarding it, because I've experienced that, and then you've just done it, you don't need to do it again. But now we're going to get on to travelling, like real travelling. I've travelled to a lot of places, especially across Europe. I've been to most of the country, well not most, a lot of the big countries I've been to multiple times. I still need to explore a lot further. I've not been to I want to see more of like South Asia, go to Australia, South America more. But yeah, I've done a lot of travelling. I normally tend to travel every couple of months, sometimes more. Been travelling a lot recently. But anyway, the first reason I believe that you should travel more is to become a lot more cultured, because a lot of people don't really appreciate the culture, even in the UK, and even myself sometimes. And I feel like you need to kind of experience what different countries have to offer, and a lot of people, especially young people, don't appreciate that. When they go on holiday to a lot of nice places, they don't see the culture there, they don't travel, they don't appreciate the buildings, the churches, the museums, the architecture there, and it's a real shame to not do that. And I feel like if you become a lot more cultured, it makes you a lot more interesting to talk to, which a lot of young people could definitely do with learning that type of skill, because they don't have a lot going for them. Probably you can relate to this, that you speak to a lot of people and they just don't have much of a personality. But anyway, you'll become a lot more attractive to women, and particularly if you're kind of posting this stuff on social media, whether you think you want to do that or not. Maybe you just don't want to just enjoy your life, which is more than fair enough, of course. But if you kind of show on social media that you are that guy who's traveling, you're going to these places, you're in like Paris, Rome, Barcelona, these places with culture, it's going to look a lot more attractive. And for you to kind of go there and actually experience it yourself, not just pretending, and you can actually go back and talk to people about what you've seen and relate to these people and have an interesting kind of intellectual conversation, is going to help you a lot, particularly going forward. Maybe not worry about it too much if you're around my age or younger, but particularly when you get to plus 25, 30, you want to become a more cultured man. I think that's very important, or woman too. And the second thing I have, in probably the most important, is memories. The amount of memories that I've had from just travelling around the world, some of the places that I've seen, especially when I've been with my family, have been memories that I will hold for the rest of my life, and I feel they're priceless, no matter how much they've cost. I feel like it's one of the best ways to spend your money, and I'm going to do a video about investing and money very soon. But for me, a lot my money either goes in investing in stocks, shares, etc., or traveling. I feel like that is one of the best ways to spend your money. We recently went on a trip to Dubrovnik, and we went on a day trip to like Montenegro, and the travel guide said like traveling is pretty much priceless. Like, you can buy money on these designer clothes, but at the end of the day, you're not gonna have the memories from this. You're not gonna get the same fulfillment as buying a jacket, buying shoes, buying a nice t-shirt, jewelry, all of this stuff. This is why I just don't really wear. I don't care about this stuff anymore, because I'd much prefer to spend my money on making memories, traveling the world, being with people I love and care about. It just means a lot more than just buying a load of shit. I don't really care how much money I have one day. Like, even if I have a lot of money, I don't think I'll ever be that guy who will spend a load of money on shit that doesn't matter, because I feel like making memories while traveling is truly special, and that's why traveling just means a lot more than just going on like a lad's holiday partying, because what memories do you really have there? You probably don't even remember half of it, and then you might look back and be like, oh yeah, some of the best times of my life with my mates who aren't your mates. But I don't know, it's not true like happiness and fulfillment that I feel you can get from traveling and just seeing whatever it is you want to see, going to some places of the world that actually interest in you. And the next reason is it really opens up your eyes to possibilities and what truly matters for you in life. Because I've made a couple of videos about traveling before, and I mentioned that I've been to South Africa, and this was one of the places for me that truly did kind of change my kind of perspective on life and what really matters. I saw these people, it's some of the kindest people, probably the kindest people that I've ever met in my life, and probably getting paid next to nothing, nowhere near as much as we'd get paid in the UK. And these guys and women that I saw were the happiest people I've probably ever met, nicest people. They were just, you could clearly see that family was a massive reason for that. They had a close family, and that's all that matters. They had a really strong kind of like kind of tribe, obviously not an actual tribe, but it's kind of what it was all about a long time ago. That's kind of where we were formed, and you kind of miss that kind of roots that we go back to that a lot of people have forgot about nowadays, especially in the countries like UK, US, where it's just very degenerate. All this stuff is pushed in your face that shouldn't be, and nothing that actually really matters. And yeah, I feel like, and also the other side of it is possibilities. Like when I went to Croatia, Dubrovnik, you see the level of wealth that people have there. And again, it might not be for you, you might not want that, but to see what people have, what the life that they live, is just, I feel like if that doesn't give you kind of some ambition to kind of go and push on and achieve what you want in your life, then I don't know what will. And I feel like just putting yourself in those environments, situations, will really kind of boost that. And it does for me. So I feel like you kind of need to expose yourself to those types of places, level of wealth, etc., etc. And another big reason, particularly for young men, will probably like to hear this one, is quite attractive for women at the end of the day. Especially, like I've mentioned, I'm going to do a video very soon about building kind of a good online presence that makes you attractive to women and personal brand, etc., etc. But if you are traveling a lot and you post this on social media, at the end of the day, it's going to look very attractive to women, especially if you're single, and they're going to be like, well, what does this guy do for a living? It's very mysterious. He's on the beach, he's in like Greece on a Wednesday, the other day he's in Paris, he should be at work. Why is he not doing this normal stuff? I'm in an office while he's traveling across the world, he's on his laptop. At the end of the day, that is very attractive to most women, and it's that mysterious kind of lifestyle that a lot of women kind of love. That's what they desire, and they're going to kind of want a slice of that pie at the end of the day. They're stuck in an office, they're living quite an unfulfilling life, they're probably doing a job that they don't really want to do, and they see you just traveling across the world on a laptop, whatever it may be, and it's, yeah, at the end of the day, who's not going to want that, especially as well if you're in great shape, etc. But that's another side of things. But it's going to be very attractive to women if you're posting this on social media, so I would recommend doing that. And even if you're not, then just telling people it's going to look great. It's a great opportunity for you to meet new people and get new opportunities, particularly if you go to maybe somewhere like Dubai or somewhere where there's a lot of people who may be English, who are kind of living a similar lifestyle for you. You never know who you can meet, and which could open a completely different door, which you never even imagined that would happen to you in your life. And a lot of people that I've kind of followed have met people, their partners, in countries across the world where they probably would have never have met these people if they hadn't travelled, they hadn't gone to these places where a lot of these women are. And that is a great opportunity for you if you're looking for that, if you're looking to find a partner, if you're just looking for new friends. You're probably a lot more likely to find these people who are a lot more similar to you, because they want to do the same. They wouldn't have travelled to that country if they weren't quite similar to you. They wanted similar things out of life. There's probably a reason why they're there, which is very similar to you. And it's very unlikely that I speak about this a lot, that you're going to meet the exact right people for you who are going to kind of get to where you want to be in life and have the same goals, aspirations, just in your local area. It doesn't happen. A lot of the time, like I've mentioned in the video before, relationships, whether that be intimate or friendships, are just out of convenience. And if you truly find people who are truly right for you with your values, your visions, etc., then they're going to be scattered across the world, and it's up to you to go to these places to find them. So that's what I have on traveling. I think for me, it's a massive winner going for traveling over these party holidays. Like I say, experience it once, and then when it comes to proper traveling, going to new places, I recommend that you go 3 to 6 months. I don't think that's unrealistic for most people. If you are working like a normal job, obviously I understand you have to book these stuff off. Obviously try your best to kind of grow an online business or have a remote job where you can work from wherever you are in the world. But if not, I feel like even if you're going away for 2-3 days just across Europe, anyone could probably do this if they truly wanted to. And I think it would just keep you going, especially, like I say, you're becoming more cultured, you're experiencing yourself, you're exposing yourself to kind of new people, new levels of wealth, which when you go back to the UK, you can kind of go and push on and get to where you want to be, and kind of make, if that's what you want to be, make this your regular life. You can be wherever you want in the world. And I feel like that's a big aspiration for a lot of young people, especially myself. So that's what I have in Lads Holidays v Travelling. Let me know if you've enjoyed this video, what you guys think below. Link will be below if you want to work one-on-one with me. If you could like and subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.